Deborah, you're gonna miss your little sunroom there.
I am. They did it so nice. Although they didn't take into account Zoom meetings when they positioned the desk.
We see all the cars going by.
Oh, do you see them right now?
We see headlights. Yeah.
Little fireworks for a meeting, I guess.
All right, let's get started. Let's see. We have a couple of attendees. Okay, Emily's here. Okay, and our iPhone friend. Okay. Um, we are going to start off with welcome to the December 10th meeting of the Township Committee's Public Safety Committee. And we are going to start off with public comment. If there's anyone who's an attendee who would like to speak, Emily, we're going to move you over in a little bit. Um, and I don't know if the iPhone person wants to say anything. If not, we will move on. I don't see any indication that that person is interested. Okay. Um, so we'll close the public hearing, the public comment. There's another one later on, I believe. And there is, yes. All right, police department. So, Chief, you sent out some parking statistics
Yes.
for the village there. Let me just pop it up here. Here we go. So you said November would be better than October, and you were true to your word. That always is good how it works out like that, right?
Correct.
You have anything to say about this? This is a reflection of more people there, more vigilance there?
Yeah, so we have a full parking enforcement unit. So we have a evening parking enforcement officer, as well as our patrols have been doing enforcement down there. That's where you see the moving violations, most of those. Did a great job down there in November as far as the violations.
And how are we doing so far in December?
Same thing, still have doing our details down there as well in December.
Okay.
I
Um,
have the stats at the end of the month.
okay.
So, Chief,
Um,
I looked through this and try to categorize the best way I could. I'm experimenting with getting ChatGPT to help me. Because I wanted to see which types we were getting the most for parking, and it looks like time limit parking is the runaway leader. That's about accurate.
Yes.
And then followed by prohibited parking at all times, no stopping or standing. Um, and that certainly goes to what we've been talking about in terms of trying to get, people to adhere to the signs and get the parking turnover in town. So thank you. I applaud you for that. I just wanted to point out handicap parking. There doesn't seem to be too many tickets written for that, and yet I continue to see whenever I drive through the village, it seems there's a car parked in the handicap spot without a placard. I this was really funny. Somebody tried to be creative and instead of actually parking in the handicap spot, they parked in that painted side next to it. Like that didn't count. Like that they could somehow make that into a spot. So clearly that's, not allowed either. So I just wanted to point that out as something for the officers, for the parking enforcement to perhaps take a look at.
Okay. Will do.
I love seeing the moving violations for left turn in a parking spot. Those are my favorite.
I won't even tell you the argument I got into it with the driver.
Uh-oh.
She said to me, "Who do you think you are? You're the police?" I says, "Well, pretty close." But yeah.
Yeah, they've been giving our parking enforcement officers the business too. So
Oh my, I'm sure they have been. I'm sure they have been. Um, Patrick, we talked about setting up some temporary parking spaces in the village. How are we doing with that?
Good. The foundations, which are the tough parts, it takes time to pour and cure, will be done tomorrow. So hopefully that means set up on Friday.
Okay, great.
We will have at least 10 of them out there, which Mr. Kittner had said was about what we had out there during COVID when he would set up the similar ones.
Okay, that'll help some,
Yep.
move some people in and out.
Great.
And then, we'll see how it goes because then in 2026 we can talk about whether we want to institute either part of the big parking conversation or just as a standalone type thing. But I know, Deb, you must be happy that we're doing this.
I am. Thank you.
Okay.
I am too. I love it.
So, Chief, I alluded to it. We are going to have a big conversation next year about the whole paid parking question. So it's important, I think, because there's some feeling that if we can keep up on these violations, if we're doing the enforcement, we're going to be turning over cars, and some thought is that the violations will help. And we don't need to have the paid parking. Others say, well, paid parking and violations, they have to go hand in hand. So it's important. So these statistics are helpful to us as we think about that. So thank you for putting them together.
I also did want to point out that I know these parking enforcement, a lot of it is in the village. And I wanted to bring up the new no parking area on Parker Avenue where the bike lanes are. We've got all the signs up. And I just actually saw a friend post that just today her son got hit by a door. Somebody pulled over on Parker despite those signs and opened their door, and her son slammed into the door, messed up his bike. Was not hurt too badly, but that could be a very serious injury. So I wondered if you could share a little bit about how you're going to be able to enforce parking in that area. I know you have officers directing traffic, and certainly they can't be doing both, but I wondered if you might share a little bit on your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so the parking enforcement officers, they don't, we do have parking enforcement officers in the center, but we also have them in different sections of town. So they do issue in Springfield Avenue, Irvington Avenue, and Parker Avenue will be part of that as well. So that they cover the whole town. The numbers you see for the excuse me, I lost my voice yelling at a soccer game over the weekend, so my voice is in and out. But the so like we've been focusing on the evening of down in the center. That's why you see those numbers jumping up. But each parking enforcement officer has a section that they enforce, and Parker Avenue will be one of those sections.
Oh, that's great.
And
Great.
also,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Now, just one thing on Parker Avenue, just want to remind us that we haven't fully signed everything yet. So there's a lot of conflicting signs still. There's
Yeah.
still some signs that say you can park there. There's some signs that say you can't. So until we get everything organized, and this is a process. People thought because we put the cones out there that the bike lanes existed. Well, they don't. And we haven't really, until we cut the ribbon for the bike lane, there's still a work in progress.
So there will be a ribbon.
Yes, there will be a ribbon.
The the incident Malia's talking about, I read about that too. The car was dropping off in front of on Parker in front of the school.
Yeah, well,
Same thing.
that should not happen.
So that, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if we have,
We put cones back up.
yeah.
So we have cones back up, and anybody doing that, and that's the next item on the agenda is, Chief, is we put the cones back up. We're going to be getting the signs back out there, but we do need the enforcement.
Yeah, we recently have been doing heavy enforcement over there. We issued, I believe, 5 summonses yesterday for that and 4 today. So the enforcement is there. The only thing is that we have so we move our enforcement around a little bit because we do have our main concern is to cover the school. So if some days we're out of guards, like guards will call out, we have to cover those school cars with police officers. And those officers, those extra officers that we have, we use them for enforcement. But it's not every day, but some days where we have to, take care of the corners first before the enforcement, and then we have the extras. We do heavy enforcement at each school, Seth Wood and BM1 and the high school.
Okay.
Thank
But
you.
once we got once the bollards are there in front of the high school, and we have the proper sign up, then people will have absolutely no excuse. Will they still do it? Probably, and hopefully they'll get tickets.
They're going to
But
stop in the middle of Parker and just let the kid out with oncoming traffic.
they might do that. They might do that. It's just unbelievable sometimes, but
I see on Academy when it's one way, cars are just making K turns and like turning around,
yeah,
parking the other to face the other way so they can go the other way. It's running well though, for them, I think.
for the most part, it's much better than it used to be. Just stopping those turns coming out of both North Terrace and Kensington is a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and there's a I don't want to say a fair number, but there's a number of students who end up getting dropped off there by Uber, taxis, and stuff like that. And quite honestly, those folks have no clue about the no drop off. So once we get the signs up, that should help a little bit, but we don't have that all up yet. And certainly when we have the bollards up, that'll be clear.
And I would think this might be another good candidate for a video,
There
a
you go.
reel on our communication channel. So
I'm just hoping to be invited to the ribbon cutting photo.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. It could happen before the end of the year, so you never
I,
know.
I thought,
Yeah, I don't think so. I think
oh,
it's going to be in 2026.
knew it. Mr.
Yeah,
Larry promised me. It's supposed to
yeah.
be done by my birthday.
Which is,
It was November 3rd. Then it was
yeah,
going to be my bat mitzvah, November 24th.
okay.
Now I'm not even going to be on time.
Not going to even hit my birthday. It's going to pass that too. So, okay. The autism friendly program. Let me stop sharing that. Well, do you want me to keep this up, or you can just talk
oh,
about
you can. I
it? Okay.
mean, okay. Um, well, thanks. You put like the whole the whole
I
list
did. I
up
put the
there.
whole thing up there
You put
because
the whole thing up here, so
yeah,
this is great. Yeah, if you could just so people who are watching can see. So Chief, I shared these a while back because I wanted to check in with you on some of these programs and resources. I went to a really great workshop at the League of Municipalities recently, and it was really great. There was law enforcement, and programming individuals, and just a lot of really great thoughts on how to make sure communities are more autism friendly. And so I wanted to bring up a few things. The Blue Envelope program, Essex County launched this earlier this year, and a lot of PDs have this up on the website. So I wanted to check in and see if this is something that Maplewood is participating in, or is that something that the township needs to consider to participate in? Because it's the program, just to explain to any public who might be watching, is essentially a blue envelope. It is exactly how it sounds. And that is where you can keep your driver's. Oh, you got one. Thank you. You can keep your driver's registration and insurance card in there, and you keep it in the glove compartment so that when you pull it out, officers see that blue envelope, and it's a signal to them that, hey, this is, this might is somebody who, um, who may be on the spectrum, and then how to react.
Yes, let me just explain a little bit of what we have done in the police department. And so we do take identification of people of autistic persons in house as volunteer. So if you will give them, they'll come and provide us our information. So if we respond to our residents, we know that person there is a resident, is autistic. Also, we have the owner of Words Bookstore. um, she contacted us with the ARC, and we have for like I would say the last 2 years have done building tours here, and familiar with the police vehicles, familiar with the officers and everything else. So we have been doing that. As you see, we do have the blue envelope. However, you're right. We need to put it out there that we are participating in this program, and we will do a campaign of putting it out there in the media that we have this program available and we're ready to go with it. So that's where we're at with that.
Great, great. I'm so happy to hear. I put in here, you can take a look at Livingston has a website where they just list all of these things, and it sounds like we're doing a lot of these things,
That's,
and it might be helpful for the community. Your website is great, by the way. I mean, members of the public, if you go over and you look, there's a lot of resources with videos. That's my favorite part. Videos about many different things that you can check out. And so our Maplewood Police Department website has a lot of really great information, and adding a page on with some of these information about how people can get the blue envelope, how they can sign up for this autism. uh I don't know, some people aren't calling it a registry because but
right.
basically, like to let the police department know. And then if there's a contact person for them to sign up for a tour. And then this was a really neat idea that I'd never heard anywhere else, but apparently they also have, some towns are doing mock pullovers where it's like an event where individuals with autism or other disabilities, and it's not necessarily if they're driving the car, but sometimes it can be very stressful and anxious if they're even a passenger in the car. So if you do a mock pullover, where they have the full, they hear the lights and the officer comes to the door, and it's a way to sort of, just role play it, and understand that it's not something to be, really worried about. I mean, worried, yes. Nobody
Right.
wants a ticket, but, it's going to be okay.
Right. And the good thing about about the envelope is all you have to do is hand the envelope over to the officer. All the information's in
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
you don't have to even say anything.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And some towns are also, some other ideas that they had at the workshop. They're offering, like, I think Livingston has these autism seatbelt covers or magnets. So and those work just like the blue envelope, where it's just other signals to kind of just signify to officers that, oh, hey, this is somebody to be aware of. Um, and then the other thing I wanted to mention is I hadn't heard of this either, these sensory friendly bags called Carter kits, except I went to their website and they were all sold out. So Carter kits, and then communication cards. And so Carter kits, it's basically like a duffel bag that has like some earphones, because sometimes noise can be overwhelming, some fidget toys, some, just some things to help, you know, de-escalate, and so that's something I just wanted to throw out there as an idea to consider. And then communication cards, and this is something that we have talked about in the planning for the inclusive playground, and it's going to have like a communication board, and it just helps with individuals who don't have the vocabulary or aren't the language, and so they can point to pictures and help to communicate in that way. And those are things that some officers, I don't think they have them in like every cars, the towns that do them, but they'll have them in like like a couple of cars in case it's needed. So these are just some really great ideas that came out of the workshop that I wanted to share with you. And um, you know, would love to talk more about which ones of these that we're not doing that we could, consider, and then putting it on your website so that more people get the word out.
Yeah, I think we're ready to go. It's just the main thing, put it on the website and put it out there so everybody knows we're doing it.
Great, great.
The I wanted to show, I saw this in a parking lot. Where did I find, let me get it up. Hold on, let me pull it up first. I'm talking about it without pulling it up. Okay. Let's see if I can get it up now here. I saw this on a car. I don't know if this is something that people have thought of doing. I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea. Have you seen these, Malia?
Yeah, it's similar to like having like either like a shoulder strap would just be like an identifier or a magnet. This has obviously the information on it as well. So I think I've seen like the magnets will have some of that information, and I believe the blue envelopes have some of that information. So these are great tools to have on the in a on a car where an individual who would benefit from this kind of support would be driven. I know some people just go out and buy their own magnet or sticker. Another option is, I think you can get some of these for free from different organizations and then just, distribute them. So certainly another thing that we could look into.
Okay.
Maybe at the health fair, maybe that would be something good for Miss Davenport to have at her table.
I love it. Yeah, I'll pass that on.
Okay. Anything more on this?
No, but I'd like to continue the conversation and see how we can get that the information out to the public.
Okay. Um, Chief, this morning at Engineering Public Works, we talked about the individual who was struck in the crosswalk at Baker and Valley. And we kind of talked it out this morning about looking um, looking to the county to see if there's anything that can be done with the lighting and timing and doing some pedestrian uh, pre walking before the lights change, things like that. So I didn't know if you had anything you wanted to share on this, and Deborah, if you had anything you wanted to say on this.
Yeah,
No, go ahead, Chief.
yeah, I agree. Anything else we can put on that corner as far as the timing and things. Um, I believe the driver, was one of those things where they said they didn't see the pedestrian crossing or, anything that makes it more visible over
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on this, Deborah?
No, just sometimes I think the pedestrians also need to learn that they got to wait for the walk sign.
That is I think people do, they see the green light change and they do walk.
Yeah.
And maybe there's some signage that we ought to think about, that um, I don't know exactly, but I'm sure there's some signage that lets people, wait till the walk sign is up or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's go to the stats. This is Deborah's favorite.
Soon we'll need a stat for how many like pedestrians hit though. I feel like there's always, I mean, we just talked two hit today.
I hope not. Let's go. Here we go. Okay, so here is 4 years of January through October. Um, it's Chief, you got anything you want to say about these?
Yeah, I think the biggest step for us, you see the robbery increase, but most of those are solved. Again, I was saying that months ago, beginning of the year, most of those came from the beginning of the year and are juvenile related things that were happening around the high school. So the biggest step for us, or the biggest improvement for us, is definitely the burglaries. So 2024, during the summer, we caught a lot of burglaries there. And around us right now, there's a lot of burglaries happening. But we've been doing pretty good with that. We made a lot of good arrests this year and last year. Even the attempts that we've had this year, I believe we have identifications in that. Also, Essex County towns have met this week regarding these burglaries and exchanged information. So hopefully that information will make this decrease even more. So I'm very happy about the progress we've done with the burglaries and our patrol being out there during those times. But it has picked up around us, and we actually picked up. We've added more officers during those times at night, here and there. Even though we're decreasing, we just don't want it to increase. So we've been doing pretty good with the burglaries. Now these burglaries are the same style burglaries where they will break into the home usually at night, trying to get the keys to high-end vehicles and then take the vehicles. Um, all these jobs, it seems that the persons that are doing this are non-confrontational with the homeowner. And if they are confronted by the homeowner, they usually run off or an alarm or a dog or something to that effect. So those are the type of burglaries that's going on. Auto thefts is very important too. That has gone down, especially we're close to the holiday season with the package thefts and things like that. But even when we've had package thefts, we made arrests. So we made some good arrests there, and you see that number's decreasing. Auto thefts every year has decreased because the burglaries have picked up. That's I guess, the main way to get the car that they want. Unless most of all, I would say 100% of our auto thefts, the car's running, keys are in the car, usually at one of our convenience stores or in the driveway running, warming up, and the car's taken. But that's decreased. So that shows that some people are not, leaving their cars running and have their keys and everything else. So, and then you see as at a total, all the incidents have reduced, and that's great. Our officers are out there um, being visible, and our detective bureau, when we do have an incident, are solving the crime. So, doing pretty good.
Yeah, you see, and it's interesting in these all incidents, and I've been on the public safety committee for a while now, and you do have these up and down years where you have, it looks like every other year we go up and down and up and down. So let's hope 2026 we keep maintaining or continue to go down,
Yep,
and we don't go back up to the 300s.
right.
Any comments, questions about this? Okay, we're going to move into traffic enforcement. This
All
is
right.
last year to this year, January through October.
Yeah. So with the traffic enforcement, you see we have gone up. It's patrol wide. Patrol officers are increasing, as you'll see if you scroll down, the vehicle stops and the moving violations. Our warnings actually went down as we're issuing more summonses. And so you're seeing an increase in that. Our dedicated traffic unit is the ones who are driving the enforcement. Um, we have three in our traffic unit. We have Sergeant. It's led by Sergeant James DeFazio, Officer Sakina Duncan, and Officer Jennifer Sellis. Officer Sakina Duncan just recently received an award, a traffic award, AAA Traffic Safety Leadership Award for her enforcement and her investigations into leaving the scene of accidents. So the leaving the scene of accident is when somebody strikes another vehicle and leaves and doesn't report. She was able to do investigations in these and identify the person and issue the summons to that person. So in a lot of these, and also the constant daily enforcement the whole unit does. They do a good job with that, and they're along with the rest of the patrol are the reason why you see an increase in traffic enforcement and the movement violation.
Congratulations to that officer. Great job.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
You know,
Okay, any comments, questions on the traffic?
Oh, you moved it. Um, I think it's going in the right direction, and I'm happy to see it. Um, I feel like we keep hearing people saying that things aren't being enforced, but we're seeing the numbers that they are. Um, so this is good. I mean, this is continuing to hopefully get people to pay attention driving safer and and doing what they should be doing.
I see people pulled over too now, so I feel like it's not necessarily like you don't see it happening. There was one day where I think I saw like two different cars pulled over.
I hope they're not your colleagues.
I didn't look to see who it was. I think
Uh,
just, I thought, good job. Good job, officer.
I did have a neighbor say she was listening to an audiobook and it was a really interesting scene and she ended up getting pulled over because she was so absorbed in the in the drama.
uh,
So then of course we all wanted to know which scene so we could read it right away.
not driving though, yeah.
No.
Um,
No, definitely not.
right. Okay, overtime. Chief, you want to say anything about that?
Yes, it continues to go down. We've had a lot of overtime hours, and we had a prisoner who went ill and went to the hospital, and still under our custody. So we had to do 24-hour security a couple times on the same prisoner. So that was a lot of overtime hours, but we're still down. We're still down from last year, even with that. So. Um, yeah, so we're in the right direction with that. And we just recently started giving uh, overtime for what I was talking about earlier, the burglary details. So um, we just have intelligence that is happening around us. So we added extra officers at certain times um, for burglary detail. Even though we're decreasing, we're still decreasing. Yeah.
Okay. Any other police matters? Chief, I wanted to share one thing with you. I did receive an email from Charles Hall, who's the president of the union on Springfield Avenue, the Union Hall there, Local 108. This Saturday, they're doing a food distribution in the morning. I don't know if you remember from last year, it's pretty intense. They have a lot of cars and people coming up around. So if you could just just be aware that that's happening Saturday morning. I'll shoot you his email so you can, because I don't remember the times, but um, it gets pretty busy there. People pull up, they run out with bags and give them the bags, and then they take off. But there's just a lot of people there. All right, if there's nothing else for Chief Sally, we'll move to Mr. Weary on OEM.
Thank you, Mr. DeLuca. Chief Sally and I met just yesterday, actually, to discuss OEM in 2026, and the chief is going to help with an officer from his department to help out doing some of the plannings for next year. We want to have either a tabletop or a more live exercise, and we want to have more standing meetings of the Emergency Management Council. And so I'm gonna work with that officer for 2026. So I appreciate the help from Chief Sally, and hopefully it's also a good opportunity for the officer. So look forward to that. And then not OEM related, but public safety related, we found out today that the equipment for the license plate readers for the parking enforcement vehicle came in today. So we're scheduling for that to be installed. So hopefully we've got a couple weeks before we can see that out on the street. We'll have to get it installed and then get trained up on it. Then we'll start using it.
Great. Okay. Um, South Essex Fire. It's we're still doing what we do is get these things up. Here we go. So we're on par to do about 5,000 incidents in the two towns, which is what we had kind of expected. And again, the majority of the calls are just about half the calls are rescue and emergency medical services, and almost 99% of those are in Maplewood. So, um, that's where we are there.
What
And
is a good intent call again?
good intent is block parties, schools,
Oh, right. Yes.
you
Yes.
know.
And then the false alarm, false call,
Those are
like a faulty alarm.
yeah, they could be someone pulling alarm, someone calling, and then um uh could be in either a home or in a business. The alarm goes off. Could be showers. Someone takes a shower and the alarm goes off. So those
Right.
things too.
Right.
They're a lot, and they are. That's the one item we'd like to see less of because that's when you get fire trucks rolling, and
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
want them on the
20%.
street. You don't want them on the street going fast with lights and stuff if they don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah. Do they have any ideas on how to reduce that?
It's yeah, they talk to businesses about, if they have faulty alarms, things like that. It's also this is when people are doing repairs in their homes, they hit a wire, the alarm goes off, or they create, they're doing something that creates smoke and it gets an alarm that goes off. So,
Yeah.
it's some of that is things you really can't plan for. But
Yeah.
certainly the any kind of repeated false alarm, they try to get it addressed.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Um, let's see. Emily, we're going to move you over to give us an update on the community board on police, or Mr. Weary's going to do that. Hey, how you doing?
Well, how's everyone?
All right.
Happy December. Um, Updates aren't that much. I should share that we have our retreat is scheduled for the end of January. There was some date picking woes. It was originally going to be in November. It is now January 31st, from I think it's at 1 in the afternoon. It's going to be at Town Hall. It's open to the public, so if community members want to be there, it's obviously open to all. I believe the township is meeting with prospective board members or has already.
We have
Um,
not yet. We have not. We haven't set those interviews up yet.
okay, well then that's up to y'all, but then of course that will then be, hopefully then we'll get to see them at our next actual meeting, which will be January 7th. And then things will have those seats filled. So things are coming, I guess, and we'll and I know, Vic, you were hoping that someone has a communications background because that would be helpful to have. But other than that, there aren't really any kind of major updates from our
How many
community.
people are rolling off?
At least three. We have lost Alexis, Kasha is leaving, and Katrina is leaving. I'm going through in my head like
Yeah.
at least three.
Yeah.
So and it's
Okay.
and some heavier hitters that have been on the board for some time.
Right.
So it's things change, but we've also created quite a foundation for things to build upon. So, we've had some incredibly brilliant minds, honestly, to create a platform. And honestly, I think the board has been one of the strongest boards in terms of what's been able to be accomplished in the state, in terms of the cooperation that's existed between the department and the township. So, and that's really attributable to the work that's been done over the years, honestly.
Okay. Any questions for Emily on the board? Emily, I do want to report to you because you did make some comments as a citizen, I think, at our last meeting about Tuscan Road around the library, and so we do have plans next year to install some high intensity crossing beacons there in that crosswalk. That'll probably be more towards the late spring, summer after we do the budget, because we until we do the budget. But I believe this morning we heard that one of the priorities is put some money in traffic calming, and I know that that's one of the areas that we're trying to pay attention to, and then also installing another crosswalk at Colgate with crossing signs.
I mean, that's great because I think part of the issue is that the visibility even at Tuscan and Wellesley gets tricky for folks.
Right.
And but I hear from seeing these stats that also, like, as someone who always drives 25 on my street, we welcome the ticketing process of Tuscan Road. And I also reached out to the school board and the district because I think at some point, I know crossing guards, I don't know where that comes into play, but it's really the kids walking to school, which I'm sure there's cooperation among the townships and the district, but I know that that's also probably a quagmire of things that come to play. So thanks, but don't worry, I'll just wear my board hat today.
Okay.
We talk about that a lot, though. There's like the municipal partnership meeting with the two towns and the superintendent, and we talk about crossing guards and kids walking to school and all that stuff comes up a lot. So there is, and this year especially, I feel like their administration and our administration and PD have been sharing a lot of information. So it's,
I mean, that's fabulous. I mean, it seems like there's a lot of willingness for everyone to collaborate. I would imagine on y'all's end, it's hard to also herd cats, so to speak, with everybody just kind of being at the right meetings at the right times. But for parents, for all of us that walk down Tuscan at that particular corner at the library, it is, I mean, it's a problem. So whatever, I mean, I'm just glad that it's on everyone's radar. So thank you.
Okay. All right. We're now going into our second public, unless anyone has any new items. Okay, we're going to go into our second public comment. Is there anyone who would like to speak to the committee? If you could just raise your hand and then we can move you over. Okay, I don't see anyone, so we will move from that second public comment. I would like to go into executive session. I have a few incidents I'd like to speak about with the chief, which are
Move that we
ongoing
go into executive
investigations.
session.
Yes, so we need to have a motion to go into executive session. Somebody want to make that motion?
I move that we go into executive session.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. And we're not broadcasting,
Just give,
so
just
we're
give
in
me a
shape,
minute.
right?
Yeah, let me stop the recording.
Okay.